Hi, everybody. Hey, it is Friday, and welcome to Marlene TV. Because on this channel, we talk about prosperity in your natural hair and in your finances. So today, I am collaborating with MJ, Millissa Jayne. So she is here on the show, and I'm so excited about this. I know you guys are gonna love her. Like I love her. I love her channel. She's amazing content creator. So I'm going to introduce her, let her talk about her channel, and then we're gonna get right into the topic. And let me put up my overlay for 1 second, guys. Yes, guys, this is it. So, are we ready to meet our guest co host for the day? I hope so. Let's invite up Millissa Jayne. Let me add her.
Hey, how are you?
Yay! Yes. So welcome to Marlene TV. How are you
Thank you.
doing?
Thank you so much. I am doing great. And how are you doing?
Good, very good.
That's wonderful.
Yes. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself, your channel, and then I'll come back. So I'll let you have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, I got to say a huge thank you to Marlene TV for inviting me on her platform today. I'm so excited. One of my very first collaborations. So I'm really excited about that. Well, my channel, it's Millissa Jayne, and the channel topic is really about technology, or I'm going to say soft tech. So it's about digital marketing technology or social media tech. All right, it's the easy stuff really, but some people do still have some issues and some problems getting up to speed with some of the social medias out there. The Facebooks out there, the Instagram, a bit of Zoom, a bit of streaming. I'm the person that can just plug the gap and I can break down things in a very simple manner. So that's primary reason why my channel exists. But in the meantime, I still have conversations because people love to talk, right? Right, Marlene? People love to talk. So we kind of mix a little bit of both things together, a little talk and a little tech.
So, what made you get into, talking about this on your platform? Why did you choose to go this route?
Well, I chose this route because it's something that, especially for the social media tech, I chose this because I have been in the space for a long time, especially in just the general tech. I've been in tech for most of my life. I'm going to say over 30 years of my life, I've been
Mhm.
involved in tech in some capacity or other. And I would say, over the last 5 years or so, I've kind of transitioned into what people use every day, which is social media. Everybody uses social
Right.
media. So I've transferred my skills from the corporate world into the social media world where I'm comfortable. All right. And then, of course, I discovered the lead attorney. Everybody knows the lead attorney, right? I
Yes.
discovered the lead attorney about let's say about 6 months ago. And at first, I was just watching him, just watching what he does. And then after a couple of months, well, probably about 3 months ago, I decided to join his Patreon and really intentionally start to grow my channel because my channel is not new. It's actually I've had my channel for probably 7 or 8 years, but it's never been intentional. I've only had the channel to store my videos. I would do a show and I would just have them there as a place for people to come and see stuff, but not pushing the channel to grow. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers yet, and I've had the channel for so long. It's like really embarrassing, and I don't have my watch hours. So I'm just like everybody else, really starting from scratch. But let me just tell you a little bit more about the channel. So I've had my channel, I got to say, probably 8 or 9 years now. And the channel was more of a music and entertainment show. So uh, I live in South Florida. And in South Florida, there are a lot of recording artists, musicians, and entertainers. And what I would do, I would go and visit all of the different attractions in South Florida, events and so forth. And I would report it on my channel. So my show was an entertainment show. We'd have a lot of music, a lot of entertainment, and people would come to find out what is going on in South Florida. That was what my channel was about. So the channel's been going for a while, but only in the last 3 months or so, it's been intentional in me growing it. And I'm meeting some fabulous, fabulous people like Marlene TV, like the lead attorney, of course, and Mrs. B. Finesse, Millissa, and all of the different YouTubers. I'm excited to just meet so many people. And Marlene was gracious enough to invite me on her channel. And that is what has led us here today. Don't forget to hit the like button. Exactly. We're waiting for Marlene to come back. But she actually invited me on the channel to talk about my journey as far as being financially free. So we'll talk a little bit about that. As you can tell from my accent, I am from England. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell the accent? Malika, can you tell the accent? I'm from England. I'm from Birmingham, to be exact, Birmingham in England. And that is about an hour and a half from London. And that was where I was born and I grew up there. But I always wanted to go to America. I don't know why. I always wanted to go to America. Communicate with me in the chats to make sure that everything is going well. So yeah, I grew up in England, and my parents, my mom, she wasn't really, let's say, so we're talking about the topic of finances, okay? Today we're talking about the topic of finances. She wasn't necessarily wealthy. Oh, here we go. Here she comes back.
Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi just cut off. I'm so sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. Welcome back to your own show.
Go back to myself.
Actually, you look more clearer now than before. It was quite blurry before, but now you look much clearer.
Oh, so maybe that was a good thing. Maybe my because I plugged it into, now it's hardwired instead of
perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. All right.
So what did I miss?
So I just was just kind of giving people a little bit of a background to my channel, and just about to get into a little bit more about myself.
Okay, awesome.
So do you want me to continue, or where should we go from here?
Okay. So you said that you know what your channel was about. You talked about that. So now tell us a little bit about, you said that you had got into, deciding that you wanted to be debt free. You said you wanted to pay off some things. So tell everybody a little bit about that process and how you came about to do that.
Sure. So I was just talking about sort of my upbringing, and this kind of has a play on why I have that type of a mindset. So growing up in England, I was a child of a single parent who struggled a lot when she was trying to raise 6 kids, right? So she's trying to raise 6 kids, yeah. And I was one of the middle children. So I have an older brother, an older sister, and I'm the third one in line. But I saw how she struggled, and I was like, you know what? I never want to have to struggle like that. I wish that we didn't have to struggle so much. And she did her best. My mom, she didn't really know too much about, finances, but she knew enough to open up a insurance policy on all of us. So she was smart enough there. And she always used to say, stay out of debt. Don't buy anything that you couldn't afford. So that was really the extent of our financial literacy growing up. Okay. But that was enough to get us started. Yeah. And but I learned everything that I know about finances on TV, through media, and on the internet, and through books.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about, you said, your mom didn't know that much, but she knew enough to, like Malika said, your mother gave you a solid, good foundation.
That's
So,
right.
you know, I always say that even if your circumstance was not always the best, but you can make a choice to improve your life and for future generations, because I talk about that all the time, generational wealth. You may not have gotten it from your parents, but you can make it for future generations to be better. And it looks like that's what you're
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah, exactly. Even though she didn't have a lot and she didn't, she wasn't able to pass on a lot to us, her base morals were good. So she would say, if you can't afford it, why would you try to put something on debt? So just live within your means, essentially, was
Right.
what she said. So those were sort of the ground for what I know today, and that's how I've kind of really lived my life. And she was a very humble person. So we never had the designer stuff, we never had the
Mhm.
designer things, and I never got the taste for it. I don't ever feel like, oh, I got to go out and got to get the Gucci or the Fendi or the. I never longed for those things, so it wasn't a big deal for me. All right, so I think that really played a lot into
I,
the way.
I I think I can agree with you a little bit on that, MJ, because I have 9 other siblings. I'm the 10th
Oh,
one.
oh, you have a big family like me too.
Yeah, so I'm number 10. So I know
Wow.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really about, the name brands. Well, I'm not saying name brands aren't nice if you can
Uh-huh.
afford to have those name brands, but
Uh-huh.
for me, what really doesn't matter who is, on your shirt or your shoes or your purse. Like my mom used to always say, don't get a $500 purse and have nothing in the purse to
Right.
spend. So
Uh-huh.
my mom said it's better if you go and get yourself a $50 purse and then you can put $400 in it. You see what I'm trying to
Absolutely.
say? That was the foundation that my mama always used to give me. She's like, don't get a gown that's $700 and then you don't have any money to do something, go to a nice dinner, do something with what
Yes.
you have on. Get a cheaper gown so that you can have some money to be able to enjoy what you have. As
So right. I love that. I love that. That's perfect. Yeah, so that was kind of my early upbringing. Um, I always wanted to really be self-sufficient and not having to go to my mom for anything.
Mhm.
So by the age of 18, I left home and I got my own apartments, and I was like, yeah, I'm an adult now, you know what I mean? I can do my
You're
own
the big
thing.
girl.
I can contribute to society. So, but it was because of her upbringing. So,
Mhm.
so then from there, my journey took me to I I left the city that I was born in, which was Birmingham. I went a little bit closer to London, to Oxfordshire. I'm sure you've heard of Oxford University and places like that. I
Right.
went to Oxford for a job. It was actually for a really really good job that I wanted to go for, and that led me to come to America. It was a bit of a stepping stone to come to America, which was
Mhm.
my dream, you see. So I spent when I got this particular job, it was just owned by a UK company. But after 4 years, so in 1990, I got this job, and after 4 years, in 1994, the company was taken over by an American company. At that point, I said, yes, that is going to be my stepping stone to get to America. All right. So it
Mhm.
took me a little while. I did some projects. I just made myself known within the organization that I was with. And by after 4 years, I was offered a job to come to America, and the company paid my expenses. Um,
Wow.
and it was a really good situation because coming to a different country, it's a little bit it's not always that easy, and it wasn't an easy
Mhm.
thing, because there were some challenges, but I'm not going to go into all the detail. Um,
Right.
but once I got to America, they're the ones who sponsored me. They provided the green card and all of the paperwork, so completely legit and everything like that, which is the only way I could have wanted to come to America.
Yes.
So I got to New York in 1998, uh, and just to add, before I took that position in 1998, I took 2 weeks vacation in Florida. And again, that plays a role because that's where I am now.
Okay. I was going to get into that, but you answered it. Okay, awesome.
I took 2 weeks vacation in Florida before going to cold New York, and I said one day I'm going to come back and I'm going to live in Florida. Which is
Wow.
another thing, people need to set a goal, follow their goal. If they have a dream to do something, they need to keep going to achieve that dream. Like need to
Yes.
keep going to achieve
I
that
believe
goal.
that I believe that too, MJ. I think it's important to manifest. You have to put
Mm,
things out in the atmosphere because there is a saying that whatever you speak, it is what you become. So you have to put that out in the atmosphere, what you want. If you always say negative things about yourself and keep saying the can'ts, the won'ts, and the can'ts, the won'ts, the woulda, shouldas.
yeah,
You're living in the past if you don't stand in the present and put it into action, what you really want, actualizing your potential, then
that is so
it will
right. And even before I knew what visualization was, I was visualizing because I remember sitting in my bathtub, just visualizing me being in America, you know, and it
happen.
and it, and it came true because I wouldn't. It was almost like nothing else could possibly happen except for me coming to America. There was no other option. I wouldn't accept anything else in my mind.
Yeah, so you wouldn't take no for an
Uh,
answer.
right, exactly. I just kept on going. Anyway, so I spent 7 years in New York, and then I wasn't really too fussy about trying to live within my means. So I let things slip a little bit while I was in New York. Wrapped up just a little bit of debt. It wasn't much at all, but I remember I was I was uh, I was dating this guy, and
Oh,
um,
this sounds like it's about to be good.
listen, you're about to
Let's
get
just
in there,
spill
right?
the tea,
Uh,
MJ.
all right. I was dating this guy, right, and we started to get a little sort of semi serious, and
Mhm.
he was somebody who was very, very well, let's say, well established as far as his finances. He knew about all the savings and investments and all of that good stuff. And we would talk about it sometimes. And I remember one time he said to me, "Well, what kind of debt do you have?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got maybe I can't remember how much it was at the time. Probably less than $5,000, right?" I said, "Oh, I probably got maybe four $5,000 debt." And he's like, oh no, we can't really go any further than like this in a relationship because I had a little bit of debt, all right? So because of that, he actually helped me to to eradicate that little bit of debt that I had, so that I would never ever come across that issue again in life. You know,
Mm.
me being in debt maybe $5,000 at the time cost me a relationship, and I said, all right, I would never let
Wow.
that ever happen to me again. Now it turns out that this guy wasn't for me anyway, because not because of that, but just because of some other things. But that
Mhm.
lesson taught me, listen, don't let a little bit of debt ever hinder you from whatever it could be. It could be maybe going for a car or a house or whatever, and having a little bit of debt may have stopped me from getting to what I needed to get. So from that day on, and that was somewhere between, I was in New York, somewhere between 19, 2000, 1998 and 2005, somewhere between that is when that happened. And I said, okay, there I go. I'm going to get rid of that bit of debt, and I'm going to be onward to a debt free life. So that was one of the other reasons, other than
Yeah.
my mom saying, hey, smart aviation, that's something smart. I forgot his name.
Yeah,
What's his first
Edward.
name?
That's Edward
Edward
Smart's
Smart.
channel.
Yes.
Hmm.
Hey, Edward. Nice to have you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Roller came in and Boss Life Online, and I think
Oh,
Malika is
hey.
here.
Hey, Boss Life
Yes.
Online. Good to have you
Yeah.
guys.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. So, MJ, tell us a little bit about that. You were saying that your financial situation, your debt, caused you this relationship. How did that make you feel? Did it make you
Yeah.
feel like you had lost control of your life, or how did it make you feel?
It made me feel like, listen, I can really do better than this. And I didn't need to be in debt. And it was like, when you first come to a new city and so forth, you just kind of wanted to just live life a little bit, a little bit of credit card. So I'd kind of let things slip a little bit, even though I knew what I should be doing. So I felt like, I felt a little bit disappointed in myself to know that it's the debt that stopped me from, pursuing, or, this person accepted me
Right.
with this debt, and five grand is probably not a lot of money. People have a lot more money in debt, but it still was enough to hinder the situation. So yeah, I felt bad. I felt like, nope, this is never going to happen to me again, ever. No one's ever going to judge me based on the fact that I have debt.
Well, I think it's one of those things that I don't really think he was judging you based on that, but it may be the what is it, the stick that broke the camel's back, like everything. And he was like, okay. I was like, now this is a deal breaker, because we all have deal breakers in relationships. That may be his.
That was his. That was definitely his. Because he was very, very particular about finances. Everything was to do with finances for him. And I'm glad that I met him, because he helped me to be the person that I am today, in regards to finances.
Yeah, that's amazing. I always talk about that some people in our lives, they're seasonal people. They come in just to teach us something, and then when that season is over, now they can move on because they gave us the knowledge, and then now it's up to us.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just not at all. I was just gonna move it forward to the time that I spent in New York was between 1998 to 2005. By 2005, that was when I asked for a position in sunny Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And that took maybe a year or so to come through. And when I got accepted for a position in Florida, because I was working for a very, very large company, which has a lot of different agencies in lots of different cities, in lots of different states, because I had an opportunity to go to San Francisco, and I decided not to go there. So there was different places that I could go for, and I chose Florida because I'd always dreamt about coming back to Florida, and I wanted to fulfill my dream, and I just loved the sunny weather here. So I came to Florida in 2005. After a year of renting, I decided I wanted to buy. So I spent that first year in Florida to look for the ideal place to buy. And after a year, I found the place. And that was my first house that I've ever purchased. And because I was traveling a lot before that, or I was in places that I wasn't really settled in. I knew I wasn't going to live in New York. Excuse me. I knew I wasn't going to buy a house in New York. It was a temporary place. I knew I wasn't going to really buy a house in the UK because I really wanted to move to America. So I didn't want to buy a house there. I wanted to be like free before I decided to settle down and buy a house. Anyway, in 2006, I bought my house. Very, very happy.
Wow. Can you kind of tell us the process? Like, how was that process? Was it easy for you to find what you wanted, or was it difficult?
Okay. It was a little bit difficult, only because this is my very, very first house that I'm buying. So I didn't, you got to learn certain things for yourself. So I would just watch things on TV. I worked with a realtor. I didn't buy nothing that was way expensive. It was way more expensive than it was worth. It was like at the height of the market. That was at 2007.
Yeah, I remember that.
Just before the bubble burst, right? So prices were really, 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 really high. But I guess I just wanted what I wanted. I wanted a nice. It was only a house that was built like 4 years ago or something like that, 4 or 5 years ago, brand new house, and one previous owner. And but the process was pretty straightforward, working with a realtor, but it just took me a long time to find the perfect house. I wanted a house with a view, just all brand new and in a nice little community, which was too busy. You know, the only people that really literally go past my door are people that live in the area. I didn't want a house on like a main street or anything like that. It just had to be fit what I like, you know.
Yeah.
So it took me a little while. It took me probably, I don't know, 6 months. Exactly. Maybe it took the whole year to find the house.
Yeah.
Probably about, I don't know, 6
Can
months.
you talk about a little bit about your journey, how it was, how you were received? Because we all know that most of the time when people go to get a house, it's usually couples. How was it being a single Black woman, you know,
Yeah.
looking to purchase a home? Because I have found that our experience is a little different from other people, because when you're trying to go into, well, who is going to help with this expense, you know, how are you going to fund and all that, and they look at you kind of sideways a little bit, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be honest with you, I don't think that I had any issues with that. Um, I remember I got pre-approved. You know, you had that pre-approval process. So you get pre-approved, and I guess, you know, I was fortunate. I had a very good salary. You know, I was fortunate. I was able to put down quite a lot as a down payment. So it wasn't like the minimum payment. I was able to put down quite a lot towards the down payment. So I think because of that, I didn't really have any issues. I don't remember any issues as far as qualifying or how people look at you. I worked with a realtor. I worked with a couple of realtors, probably, um, until one of them got bored of just going to show me house after house after house.
Yeah.
And I ended up working with a Jewish guy. There's a lot of Jewish people in this community where I live. So it was a Jewish guy who helped me. I remember one thing that was kind of new to me about Jewish gentlemen is that they don't shake hands with women, which is what at least in this experience, he wouldn't shake hands because he said it's because it's his religion. So that's just a by the by.
Yeah.
But anyway, he got me the house. He was able to help me to find the house, and I was excited. And you know, brand new girl, brand new house, and I'm single girl in the house, and I'm living my life like it's golden. I was just really excited, thinking that, you know, I'm fulfilling all the things that I've always wanted in life. You know what I mean? You just feel accomplished, and I'm achieving what I want. So I was excited.
Yeah, Miss Full Roller here in the chat says that her folks were looking at her like I had grown 3 heads when I said I was buying a house as a single woman.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I
Malika says that she was particular about finding her house as well.
yeah, I was very, very particular, I'll tell you that. But I'm happy. I'm happy what I chose. So from there now, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of paying off the mortgage now. Because
Yeah,
after
let's get into the
let's
meat
get
and
into
potatoes now,
the
MJ.
meat of it now. After buying the house, this is where reality hit me, right?
Yeah.
After about it's got to be about a year and a half. I wasn't really paying close attention to all of the numbers. So it was probably about a year or so afterwards. I was looking at my statements, and I'm realizing, wait, I've only paid such and such on the principal, and all this money has gone to the interest. That was a slap in the face. I could not believe that I've been paying this mortgage month after month after month, and I've only paid, I can't remember how much it was, but it was a really small amount compared to how much the interest was. And I was like, I was shook up. I was so upset to know that all this time has passed. And I'm thinking that I've actually knocked quite a bit off this mortgage, and to realize that it was barely touched. I was really, really upset about that, and I said, okay, something has to be done. I wasn't watching Dave Ramsey at the time. At that point, I started watching Dave Ramsey. I started watching Susie Orman. I started to read. I started to watch channels about finances, and this is where the finances, the financial education really kicked in. Because before, to pay off the, you know what? No, actually, I'll tell a lie. I was watching Susie Orman when I was in New York. I was watching
Mhm.
Susie Orman in New York, and that she was the one, I guess, who helped me to just clear off that little bit of debt while I was in New York. But then, regarding the house, that's when I really started to watch Dave Ramsey, because Dave Ramsey has that baby steps. You familiar with the baby steps?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have.
right.
I have.
So
What he was. Yeah, I have a kind of rocky relationship with Dave Ramsey because I believe in some of his principles, but I
oh,
believe in
so
using
do I.
credit cards.
So do I.
So
So do I.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We're both in agreement there. But he served his purpose too.
Yeah.
He served his purpose too. So I at that point I started to follow Dave Ramsey, and I would watch his debt-free screams. You know, the debt-free. I'm debt-free.
Yes, yeah,
Right?
when they call in.
They call in, and sometimes they go in to the studio and they do that debt-free screen. And I said, I want to be screaming that I'm debt-free soon, as soon as possible. So these are the steps that I took in order to get debt-free, to pay off this 30-year mortgage in 9 years.
Oh, so how did that process go? Did you look at it and then see, after you crunched the numbers, saw it was going to take you 9 years?
So here's what I did to do that. I have a bullet point list here. Number
Okay.
one, I followed Dave Ramsey's baby steps. So I didn't have to pay off any credit card debt and everything like that. I was already out of debt. It was all to do with paying off the mortgage. Okay.
Okay.
The next thing, I watched Ramsey religiously every single day, and I think I was probably watching Susie Orman at the same time as well. I created a budget. I created a budget to make sure that every single penny was going towards whatever utility bills were paid off, and everything else was going towards the mortgage, and everything else, And again, I had a very, very decent job, so I was able to put a lot of money to pay off the mortgage. And now I wasn't paying just the mortgage, just the mortgage as it is. I was
Yeah.
paid against the principal, because
Yeah.
now I discovered that there's a
Did you
principal.
write that in? Did you write that in on your check? Because that's one of the things that you do.
It was
Principal.
principal. I would. It was automatic. It was
Okay.
not automatic. It was electronic, but
Okay.
I would always make sure this was against the principal, and I would make sure every time it was paid, it's against the principal specifically, because I wasn't gonna let that happen to me any longer after that
Right.
first year and a half or so.
Yeah. So you were done. You were done with that.
I was done. I did at least 2 or 3 mortgage modifications during that process. So I would reduce the interest rate down. I would modify the mortgage so that the interest rate was lower than it originally was. I think it started pretty high. By the time the interest rate would lower down, and I would get a modification to reduce
Okay.
the
So
mortgage.
did you do a refinancing?
No, it wasn't a refinancing. It was called
Okay.
a mortgage modification. I
Okay.
don't know if they still do them, but it was a modification. Maybe there's a
Okay.
different name. It's basically just to adjust the interest rate. Okay, and I also used these online calculators. It was a amortization, I think it's called the amortization calculator, which calculates how much I will be paid each month to the interest, to help me to keep on track with what I would aim to pay. And every
Right.
time I had anything extra, I just threw it straight at the principal. And then
Right.
I would also kind of make it into a bit of a game, because it became competitive. I became obsessed with it. To be honest with you. I would have it all written down into a book. I would have it pinned upon my wall so I could just check things off, and I would celebrate small wins. So if I paid off a 10,000 or a 20,000 or a 50,000 or whatever, I would do some kind of celebration. Mind you,
Right.
it's not going to be anything elaborate as far as celebration, because I
Right.
don't want to spend a lot of money. It would just be something small but manageable. I love doing that. All extra money goes to the principal. Absolutely,
Yes.
Malika. Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you tell us, because I've had Miss Full Roller on my show as well, and she was saying that she didn't really have a lot of support from
Ah,
other people. How was your experience? Did you have support from people when you were going through your debt-free journey?
you know what? I really and honestly used Dave Ramsey's community as my support system. Even though
Okay.
I don't know them, they don't know me. I'm not writing to anything. I'm not writing to them. I wasn't in any type of community group. I just used that as my support. Um,
Okay.
now there are groups. There are Facebook groups. There are community groups that you can
Mhm.
join to be a part of a community, and they could chat to each other. I think maybe towards the ending part I might have joined a Facebook group and people were chatting in there, and so but yeah, community is important, whichever way you
It
want to
is.
get it. Whichever way
It
you want to
is.
get it, it's
I,
important.
I I think me, because I'm going through my debt free journey. It's lit a fire. I'm telling you, since I joined a group on
Yeah.
Instagram for
uh
people who it has lit a fire. I was like, I said I was gonna wait a year. Now now I'm like, can I do this in 7 months?
right, right. So
Yeah.
are you paying down your mortgage, or is it credit card
No,
debt?
my house is mortgage free. That was
Okay,
one of the
awesome.
blessings my mom gave to me.
Oh,
No mortgage, but I have to pay off some debts that I got by getting this house.
oh, okay.
So
Okay. Well,
that's where
that's
I
good.
am with that.
You're ahead of the game. That's
Yeah.
wonderful for you. Congratulations
Mhm.
on that.
Thank you.
So, yeah, just throughout the whole process, there was no unnecessary spending. I was very, very frugal, even more frugal than I'd ever been in my life during that time. And let's see what I said here. Yeah, but
So MJ, when you say you were frugal, explain to us what that means, because everybody has a different definition. Like, what was your definition of
okay,
how you say you were frugal?
okay. So again, I'm a very simple person as far as clothes, shoes, things like that. I would just basically buy just the necessities. I wouldn't be going
Mhm.
out to get my hair done all the time. I wouldn't go to the nail salon. I can do stuff like that myself, my nails, my hair. I was doing all that kind of stuff myself. I wasn't
Mhm.
buying a lot of clothes. I would just, wear the clothes. Trust me, with us women, we have so much clothes in our closet. We can just go and shop in our own closet. So
Yes.
there's nothing that I didn't have. And if I did need something, then it was something that I could afford to buy. Frugal to me means not eating out all the time, buying food and cooking for myself. That would be one of the things that I would splurge on if I was going to celebrate. I would celebrate by either getting my hair done or going to a nice restaurant or something like that.
Mhm.
So I was very, very frugal. I'm able to live a very frugal but contented life. I'm a simple girl when it comes to things like
Mhm.
that. But entertainment, I
Mhm.
like that's something that I love to do. I love to go to concerts. I love to go to outdoor entertainment and movies and stuff like that. Not necessarily movies, but outdoor entertainment. Live. I love live music,
That
live
shows.
bands. But here's the thing, and especially living in I live in South Florida, people. I can go down to the beach anytime I want to. There's always
Yeah.
free concerts. Literally every city puts on free events throughout the year. I
Yes.
take advantage of those, and that was actually how my show got started. 7 8 years ago, is that I would always go to find all these different free events, all these different free or cheap events, and collate them and let people know what's happening in the city. People would come to me literally to find out, well, what's going on this weekend. And that's how my show
Yeah.
got that's how my show got started initially. It was called Lauderdale Live and Local. That was my first show. But going back to just being frugal, there's a lot of stuff that you can do for free. Well, I'm so amazed that Melissa's methods were very similar to mine. Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Um, I didn't have a boring life. I didn't feel like I had um, a deprived life. I
Yeah,
wasn't going to take big, massive vacations or anything like that. Again, because I live in South Florida, I can just do
right.
so many things. Anyway, people come to Florida for vacations, and I live in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah, that I say that all the time living in Florida. We live in a vacation city. So I
Exactly.
learned to start doing more staycations instead
That's
of
it.
going away.
Where do you live, by the way, in Florida?
I live in St. Petersburg.
Oh, St. Petersburg. Okay, cool. And um, and then I just had discipline. It was my goal to pay off the house in the shortest amount of time. I worked it out that I could do it in such and such a time, and I actually did it ahead of time. I think I projected it was going to take 13 years, and I did it within 9.
Wow.
So I was really, really
Wow.
excited about that. Yeah,
I
thank
thought
you.
that is, oh my goodness. It makes me feel so good. I feel like you're my sister. I just want to give you a hug.
Hug, virtual hug, virtual hug. There we go. There we go. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's amazing. And love hearing stories like this because it makes it real for
Mhm.
someone who may be watching this maybe later in the replay that doesn't know us, that it is possible
Mm,
that we can do things because most of the time, like I always say, people who look like us
mm,
usually don't think that home ownership is possible for us,
mhm,
not even putting it on the table that
mm.
it's possible for us to not only be homeowners, but to be homeowners debt free.
Debt free.
Yes,
Because
it is possible.
it just opens up so many things for you when you're debt free, because you can afford to just relax a little bit, because it's like a big sigh of relief after it's done. I think probably for a little bit after I paid off the mortgage, I still was living like I
Yes.
was paying it off. So I was able to um save a lot. So at that point, after the mortgage is paid off now, that's where you want to start focusing on investing and um and really just getting prepared for retirement, and which is the last phase of the story, retirement. I don't know if I told you that I'm retired. Did I tell you I was retired?
Yeah. Well, you told me, no, well, you told me right before, and I was kind of like, it kind of like shell shocked me a little. I was like, huh, huh? Oh, I got to go live, but I was like, huh? Okay, we'll get into it.
so that's the final part of the story, really. I would say um once I became debt free, I still was just really, really aggressive and mindful about just preparing for later on. Okay, and I think the last few years of me working for this again, so I was very, very fortunate. I got to say, I was very, very fortunate to be working for this big international company that sponsored me to come to America. Uh, Really, really great benefits, really, really great environment, and
Mhm.
really, really good salary. But after let's say the last few years of working for the company that I was working for, I started to feel like, what, I really want to have my own company, or I really want to just stop working for somebody else and just retire and just enjoy, what I've just been working for all this time. Because I don't know if you know my age, but I'm a little bit older than people typically think, right? So,
I
uh,
listen. You know, black don't crack. Come
right?
on,
That's
come on
that's
now,
what I'm talking about here.
come on.
You know that, girl. So, but I just like what was thinking. You know what? It would just be nice to retire. So, uh, and it's funny how the universe, the world, your journey, your your journey in life, how it sort of plays out. It's not like you can't always plan everything, but sometimes just things work out the way that they're supposed to work out. So this is the way I think. It's been like fate. I think that this is supposed to be like this. So anyway, in 2018, August of 2018, well, let's just say about a year leading up to it, the company that I was working for, they decided to eliminate this whole department. All right, we're talking about 500 people. Okay, it's the whole company really. One of these whole let's say agencies. I decided to eliminate this whole
Oh,
agency,
wow.
and I was a part of that downsizing. So I had
Mm.
about a good 6 months. Excuse me. I had about a good 6 months to prepare for this. And during that time, I thought to myself, you know what? This isn't such a bad thing. They're going to downsize and I'm going to be out of a job. It's not such a bad thing. I think I've set myself up enough to handle this. So I started to prepare my mind and I started to think, you know what? Let me just start a business. Let me just start to put some things into place and go from there. Well,
So, can I interrupt you for a second, MJ?
sure, sure.
So you were saying that, your job was going to be eliminated. You knew that. How far in advance did you have to prepare for it?
I would say I had about I would say about maybe about 8 months, about 8 months to
Okay.
prepare. So it wasn't something that happened overnight. I mean, I saw the writing on the wall because they were just eliminated in big chunks. And I was part of IT. I'm an IT professional, so
Mhm.
the IT people are the last to go, right? Because we got to help
Mhm.
to help
Right.
everybody else with the transition. And so I saw it coming. I didn't actually know for sure that all of the IT people were going to go because some of the IT people were actually stayed. But I saw it coming. I said, "This is a good chance." So anyway, in August of 2018 was the last day, and I said, "Okay, this is fine. I'm going to accept the severance pay, which is for the rest of the year, from August to December." And during that time, I'll decide what I want to do. Well, of course, between August of 2018 and December of 2018, me not having to work for anybody but still getting paid, I kind of like that idea. I kind of
Yeah.
like the idea of not working and still being paid. And again, during that whole year, I decided to start a business and just just see how I could make that work for me. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I um, I let's say evaluated everything that I had going for me as far as the
Mhm.
investments. I have let's say I have buckets of investments in different areas. I have a 401k. I have an individual retirement. I have a Roth IRA. I have some retirements back in the UK. So and then I have a big bucket of savings. So I was pretty okay, and I worked it out so that I could say I don't have to work for about 5 years until um, one of my policies can mature. So what I've worked out is that for the next 5 years I don't have to work. The next 5 years after that I can live off this particular retirement. The next 5 years after that I'll live off another particular retirement. So I have sort of like
Oh, I
the rest
see.
the rest of my life kind of um, planned out financially, okay, to some degree. For the most part it's all sort of secure, and I don't have to necessarily go back to work. But I wanted to give myself a good 3 or 4 or 5 years of cushion before I would have to before I can receive some income of retirement. So
Mhm.
good financial planning. I'm not saying I'm actually perfect at it, but I have enough to know that I'm okay. And let's just say I haven't worked since 2018, and it's 2021 right now, and I haven't wanted for anything, and I'm good, and
Wow.
I'm good, and I'm still good to go for several more years until one of my policies matures.
Wow.
Um, and 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 as a matter of fact, even when I did decide that I wasn't going to go back to work after 2018, um, a one of the sister agencies, a friend of mine who I used to work with, she called me up like towards the end of 2018 and called and said, you know what, she got a position with a sister agency. Would I like to come and work, alongside her? Because we were a really really good team.
Mhm.
And I'm like, you know what, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Now, I got to
Mhm.
say also, when you're single, and you don't have kids, you don't have debt, you know, it does set you up as in a very good advantage because you don't have debt, you don't have to worry about somebody coming, you know, you don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. So you're in an advantage. Whereas
Mhm.
she had to continue working because she has 3 kids and she has a mortgage and she has, you know, so such and such and such. So
Yeah.
I kind of see
Like
myself.
we were saying, Miss me and Miss Forola last week that, you know, financial, you know, debt, being debt free allows you to have freedom to
Hmm.
be able to do whatever you want. You can be more relaxed because I
That's
always
it.
said my life goal is to be in pajamas every day of my life in my 40s. That's
Right?
my goal. I was like, wait till you're 65. No.
No, I didn't want to wait. I didn't
No.
want to wait till I'm 65.
Mm-mm. I was
So
like,
you're
no. Mm-mm.
yeah. So you're still in your 30s, I assume. Is that what you're
No.
saying? Oh,
Mm-mm. Nope.
okay, okay,
Yes.
okay. Like you
Go
say,
up from there.
like you
Yes,
say, black
honey.
don't crack. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that offline. So you know, like I said, I wanted to. I decided that I was going to retire. Um, and I wanted to just do things my own way. You know, start the business that I've started. It's really not really a business per se. It's just something I kind of was toying the idea with. But I really what I really wanted was to have the time to do whatever I wanted to do. You know, I want to study. I want to learn how to invest in cryptocurrencies. I want to learn how to invest in stock markets. So I'm really right over, especially over the last year.
Mm-hmm.
The last year I've been studying hard, so it's almost like a job. It's almost like I'm going back to school. I'm studying hard to crack this crypto world, and
Melissa, you and me both.
yeah,
I've been studying hard.
I've been
We're gonna have to
studying
talk
hard, girl.
offline.
It's like a
Yeah.
job. It's like a job because I'm so
It's a real
right.
job.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't have been able to focus and do that if I was working full time. I wouldn't have the energy because what
Hmm.
I'm doing right now, it's like almost like it's full time.
Yeah.
So, but having a financial plan, planning out your life as much as possible. I mean, nothing is foolproof, but trying to
Hmm.
plan out ahead of time with investments, with all of the things that all the financial vehicles that are out there to invest and prepare for the future. Again, I'm not perfect, but what I also liked about Susie Orman was she would do this thing called "How Am I Doing?" I don't know. Did you ever used to watch Susie Orman?
Yeah, girl. You'll see. Oh, you can't see above, but all my books up there.
All
It's
right.
Susie.
Do you see my books here?
That's why when I looked, I was like, oh, she has the same one as me. This is this
women,
is
women,
so funny.
women and money. The Dave Ramsey
Yes.
Complete Guide to Money. I have the Ultimate Retirement Guide. Here we go. 50 and
Mhm.
50 and plus. Yeah. Before that, honey.
You
Before
you
that.
got to add to that Lisa Nichols book. I recommend that to everybody.
Oh,
I'm gonna
which
send
one's
you
that
a
one?
link. That book by Lisa Nichols has changed my life.
Oh yeah. Send me the link to that.
Okay.
But these are the people that really have helped me. I don't use the only reason that I use credit card is if is to get points and because you got to pay for things pretty much with credit cards. But I
Mhm.
don't ever carry a balance. I never pay any interest on any credit cards. And the other thing is key is um, you know, I like to get points. I like to get my points and make let the credit cards pay me instead of
Yeah.
you know,
That's what I'm learning. Use your points to put you in vacation,
right?
or use your
Or
points to
money,
pay for your gas.
cash back or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also always have everything on automatic so that I never let anything slip through the cracks as far as credit cards or bills. All of my bills are automatic online. I
Mhm.
don't have anything falling through the cracks as much as possible. And you know, for that I have even though I'm not necessarily taking anything out on credit, I have a very high credit score because I've just um, you know maintain a good a good a good
Right.
thing with that. Like I said, I'm not perfect where this is concerned. I don't want anybody to think that, oh yeah, Melissa's got everything all together. There are things that I know I still need to do, and I'll just name them. I still need to complete my will and trust. I started it, I started my will and trust, and I just haven't completed it. And I got to get my long-term care insurance um, sorted out, as well as a healthcare directive. Those are three things. When Susie Orman talks about how am I doing, it's that's such a great examples. That when you see other people how they're getting ready to retire, it really helps you to figure out, well, what are you going to do to get yourself
Mhm.
ready for
See,
retirement?
see, and this is, I know it's not really on the topic, but it's something that I've been thinking about. Like, I like to talk to other women who look like me. And when I say that, I don't mean just Black women, I mean any woman of
Mm,
color. I'm
mhm,
the
mhm,
Indians, anybody who
mm,
is, in the brown skin
mm,
tone, people who are,
mhm.
I guess, would say like oppressed. So, I like to
Yeah.
inform other women that you don't have to be in the societal box
Mhm.
or norm. So whatever it is that you want to do with your life, if you want to go get a house, don't
Yeah.
like how like the society is sometimes with us and saying you got to have this cookie cutter life, you got to have the husband, you got to have this, and you got to have the 3.5 kids and this. But what if that doesn't fit into what you want?
Right. Right.
What if that
Ex-
doesn't fit into what you want? If you are always waiting to have the husband to be able to take that dream vacation, what if you never find the right guy and don't get
mm,
married? So you're saying
exactly.
your whole life you would never be fulfilled because you
I
never
know.
had the man to get to the next level in your life.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things about awareness that I want to talk to women and elevate their mind and let them know that you don't have to live in the cookie cutter. You don't even have to be in a box.
That's
Make your life the way you want it to be.
very, very true. And there was something important that you said there. Yeah. I didn't necessarily wait on a husband before I bought a house or before I did anything that I wanted to. I did get married about seven years ago now, and I was, let's just say, I was already at, I had everything that I needed. He just added
Mhm.
to what I he just added to what I already had. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't necessarily have to wait on somebody to. And this is something that I feel sorry for some women who feel like that they have to wait on somebody, and then they
Mhm.
always um feel like obliged or obligated or owing to
Mhm.
somebody. They can't make a
Right.
move without anybody else.
I think that's called that they only can find their fulfillment within somebody else. They cannot feel
Yeah.
fulfilled. It's called being self-fulfilled. And sometimes it's not very popular. They always say that when you feel that way, you're an alpha female.
Yeah.
I don't believe in this alpha female stuff. I just think that I'm a strong woman. That's it.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
End of sentence.
We
So
are so similar in that respect.
yeah.
Absolutely. But just to sort of summarize it all and put a bow on top of it, I would say to anybody listening, if they are, if they're encouraged by this and they sort of want to know more, they can definitely reach out. But the tips, what I would say is, number one, to try to pay off any debt or any financial goal, is to keep good records, so that things don't fall through the cracks. Keep good records and check them every day or um, every week. I think I got so obsessed that I was checking my stuff every
Yes.
day, and paying bills and transfers were automatic. I would make sure that I was paying my principal off automatic, or at least making sure that I was just doing it on a regular basis, so that it was seemed automatic to me. Decide how badly you want something. I wanted to pay off
Right.
this mortgage so badly. I could taste it. Sometimes I would
You
get
could
so
see it.
desperate. Yeah.
You can
Sometimes I would
see
feel
it.
like,
You have to visualize yourself there before you can
yeah,
be there.
I would get so desperate wanting just the time to go by, that I would almost get frustrated sometimes with myself. But just have to just bide the time and just do everything right. Um, and then make a plan, and have a timeline. You might even hit it before the timeline, which is
Yes.
absolutely amazing, which I was able to do. And then celebrate your small wins.
Yes.
Celebrate small wins because you want to feel motivated each time. I mean, when you pay off a big chunk, you are so excited anyway, but just celebrate
Yeah.
some small wins. And then finally, be a part of a community. And you spoke about that. Be a part of a community that will help to encourage you along the way. And, you know, you can be an encouragement to somebody else can be an encouragement to you. And you can do anything, not even just to do with finances, but just in life. With if you have a dream that you want to do something, make a plan, follow it through, visualize it, dream it, and you can taste it. And that's happened in
Right.
several aspects of my life, as far as coming from the UK to America, you know, buying the house, paid it off, um, living a debt-free life, living a retired life. I'm a retired person now. I don't have to necessarily go back to work if I don't want to. And I'm just trying to work now on making sure that all the finances that I have can stretch for as long as possible. And that's why I'm really getting into the investing space.
Awesome. Wow, oh, I feel so full. This has been so good. I want this to go on for another 2 hours.
So, do we have any questions in the chats then? What
Yeah, well, I see a comment that the Doja was not a question, but Malika says that she's trying to get on her investment and retirement game. You know,
Mm,
I'm learning about it late, and
mm,
Edward says that you definitely are thinking ahead.
mm. You have
And
to.
this is something that is a new concept for the Dojo of Manhood. He says, wait, are we saying that women are choosing not to buy homes or invest until they find a man? I'm not saying us,
Mhm,
the Dojo of Manhood. I say some women.
mhm.
They choose that because I also believe it has to do with, you know, your family dynamic, your self-esteem. All of that goes into who you are and the decisions that you choose to make.
Okay.
So if you have low self-esteem, you can only find your fulfillment in a relationship or within your family. But if you are fulfilled within yourself, you're not waiting for things. You are making it happen.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm, yeah,
very, very good.
yeah, that's good. So let me see if there's any more comments. If I missed
This
any.
is how women are conditioned to be. We are to look for everything, and that everything is outside of us.
Mm, yeah, that's a whole nother discussion for it is. We could talk about, you know, some of the things that maybe some people don't understand, but there's some conditioning that happens to women that, you know, you have to flip it, delete it, remove it, and build and encourage yourself from that, because sometimes, especially when it comes to people who look like us, it's not an easy road. It's not easy. You know, sometimes you have to work 2, 3 times harder. You know, so you may not have the support. You may not even have the financial backup, because sometimes people who don't look like us, they're already set up for their life, you know, retirement, this, that, college paid. And
Right?
so I'm not saying that it doesn't happen for people who look like us as well, but I'm saying
Mhm.
sometimes
Right.
we have to work much harder to be able to achieve the successes that we have. So I like to celebrate. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Can I
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, what was it that made you decide that you wanted to, you know, live a debt-free life?
Was it? Well, I think first of all, you know, coming into home ownership through probate, it caused me to mature faster, because
Oh,
when you realize
mhm.
that, okay, now it's not like when you have a rental, you're renting someone else's stuff. You don't
Yeah.
really care about, you know, how if the screen is ripped, but when it's yours, it'd be like, you're not going to tear my screen. Like, can you please not slam my door?
Right?
Everything becomes more personal. So when I started to take my life more serious, like I started looking to other things like my finances, my credit score. Like, because when you level up in one aspect of your life, I feel like you have to elevate everything else as well. So
Mhm.
that's what it was for me. And I said, I I deserve better. And I know my mom, she wanted better for me. So she helped me to get to this level. So now I need to help other people in my family to be able to do better in generational wealth.
Mm. And how is it received within your family? Because you said that you're the youngest.
I
Youngest
am
in
the
family?
youngest.
How
Hmm.
and is everybody else of the same mind in your family, the brothers and
Uh,
sisters? Uh,
I think that's the reason why my mom gave the home to
to
me.
you.
Mhm.
Wow.
And it caused a lot of
Oh.
you know, the
Wow.
claws came out like, excuse me, why is she getting it and she's the youngest?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like,
Interesting.
don't be mad. I said, don't be mad because she saw how good your girl.
So how long ago was this then for you?
This was 2017.
Oh, not too long ago, really, then.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
2017. So almost 4 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So what was it like beforehand? Did you all so I guess then you always were very responsible before that.
always.
Oh.
I was the 9-year-old child doing being a nanny, taking care of
Being the
people's
mommy.
kids. Yeah, I was being the mommy and going to the grocery store for the little old lady down the street to get my
Oh.
$20. Yeah. So I always have my little money. So my mom was like, look at that, like, okay.
And did she nurture that, or was you that was just
Yeah.
you?
No,
She didn't.
my parents nurture that, I don't know if I mentioned, but my parents are Jamaican.
Oh
So
no.
they know
Okay.
about I used to always see my mom or dad always while they had their regular job, my mom and my dad on their own always had a side hustle. So
Right.
I saw that from them. So I was like, what can I do to get 9 years
Awesome.
old thinking, how can I get some money?
Yeah, that's awesome. But you saw
Yeah.
that your brothers and sisters, they weren't necessarily like that.
Mm-mm.
Out of all of them,
No.
are you kidding?
No, I can't say that they're not like that, but not in the way that they want to have. Like, I believe in having several streams of income,
Mhm.
whereas they are satisfied with one and I'm not, because your
Okay.
one income can always fail you,
Mhm, mhm.
can always fail you.
Very good, very
Mhm.
good. Oh, I'm proud of you then, Marlene.
Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you so much.
yeah.
So, is there anything that you would like to oh, I see a comment. Hold on. Let me go up to it before. Um, let's see. Yes, very common amongst the boomer and generations before.
Oh, there's a
Uh,
question here.
oh,
Um,
that's when the Doja of Manhood, he says that he never heard about women being conditioned to want to not have things until they get a man. So he says he never heard that before and he thinks it's fascinating.
that's
So do
awesome.
you both have specific retirement numbers that you're trying to reach? Yes, I do. How about you, Millissa?
As far as age or how much I want to
Well,
earn.
I wasn't talking about age. I was talking about how much I want to have in my because
Um,
I don't have a specific age. See, I'm not retired already like you.
mhm. Yeah,
I'm not
I don't,
retired.
no, I didn't have a specific number of how much I wanted um to make before I retired. But I when I started looking at things, I knew that I had enough. I knew that I had enough, and it's almost like a phased approach. So one particular policy will mature in 5 years, and then there's another policy that will mature in the next 5 years after that. So it's kind of like a phased approach to receiving income.
Yeah.
So, and again, I've always said I'm not somebody that needs millions of dollars, millions and millions of
Mhm.
dollars. I'm very frugal, and I guess I'll always be that way. I can afford to take vacations. I can afford to do anything that I need to do, basically. You know.
Mhm.
So, but I
Yeah.
did see a question here. It says, this is full roller.
Uh-huh.
Melissa, you may have already asked this, uh, But what was your absolute sick and tired moment that was the catalyst to go debt free? Um, there's two. And one was when I met a guy when I was living in New York. So I should probably miss this part. When I was living in New York and I had a little bit of debt, and I'm talking really small, probably about less than 5 grand. I remember it was less than 5 grand. And he told me that he didn't want to have a relationship, or didn't want to take the relationship any further until I'd gotten rid of the debt. Till I got rid of the debt. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get rid of the debt. It just so happened I got rid of him too.
You didn't know he was going to.
It was going, but he was there for a time. He was there to teach me that I would never that I should never ever have debt again in my life. So because of that was one time that I decided I was never going to have any debt as far as credit card debt. I didn't need to. That was the funny thing, was that I didn't necessarily need to. It was just that I got a little bit comfortable living the high life in New York City, right?
Yeah, you do get comfortable.
Right. And then that was the first time. And then the second time was actually a slap in the face when I bought my house. And after about a year and a half, I realized I'd only paid a small amount towards the principal of the mortgage, and I'd been paying so much more on the interest. And when I realized that, I'm like, I need to get rid of this mortgage as fast as I possibly can. And the amount of money that I saved on interest, paying off a 30-year mortgage within about 9 years, it was crazy. And all of that money that I would be paid on interest, that money has now gone in towards my own savings, my own investments. So, guys, the word mortgage, if you look up the word mortgage, it's translated in death grip. Mortgage as far as the mortuary, the death part of it, and gauge, the grip, a death grip. You don't ever want to be owing anybody money as far as a mortgage. I mean, this is my own personal. Oh, remind me about Dave Ramsey. This is my own personal goal, my own personal thing. Some people think that a mortgage is actually good debt. For me personally, I just wanted to be free, and the fact that I was free of a mortgage afforded me the ability to, when my job was no more, to say, you know what, actually, I don't really need that job anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many people can do that? How many people can let go from a job and then decide not to take the job that's offered to me, because there was a job that was offered to me right after, and I said, you know what, I think I want to do my own. I want to do my own thing. I think I'll pass. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. And that was 2018, and I'm still all right. Now, Dave Ramsey. Now you said you have this love-hate relationship.
Yes, it's a lot. See, I love him because of the principles of what he stands on, but I don't agree with not having the credit card, because I live on a credit card lifestyle, because it's about those points and the cash back. They're everything. I was like, Dave, you need to get on it.
you need to get on that. And plus, I have the same thing. Like I said, like we both said before, it was for a time. The purpose that Dave Ramsey came into my life was to help me to pay the mortgage off. To hear those debt-free screams every day, I was like, man, I want to be in that position. I want to scream. I want to scream.
Yes,
it too.
I can't wait to scream. I think I want to do mine live.
We should do a Zoom a StreamYard party.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna have it. I'm thinking about doing going down and having like a little party with some of my friends, because some of my friends, they're not going to be debt free, but they're paying down stuff, so it's going to be like a celebration of removing lots of baggage from our life. So you know about baggages that are more things than one. It's not just your finances. You got to free your mind too.
That's so true. But regarding Dave Ramsey, so he served a purpose, but I agree with you as far as the credit cards, but because nobody who really walks around with cash all the time, you know, I don't
My
know if
mother
people.
did.
Well, I mean,
That's the
uh,
old school.
in
They
these
didn't even think, they don't even believe in the plastic
in
at
these
all. No
days, in
plastic.
these days, you can't really walk around with cash all the time, and it's just more convenient to have the credit card. So for me,
Mhm.
as long as you're disciplined, as long as you know you don't have to use. I use my credit card as a debit, as almost like a debit card. You know,
Yes.
if I don't, again, if I don't have it, I'm not gonna spend it. I mean, I just use it to rack up points and to get cash back, free money, absolutely
Right.
free money. Whether you want to
Mhm.
go take a vacation, you want to get points for vacations, or you want to get buy, sometimes you can get stuff. I just do it for cash back, simply for cash back,
Mhm.
and to make sure that um, my points are high. I've never had to um, to 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 buy anything on credit necessarily, but you know what? It's there. It's there as an option. If
It's
everything,
available.
if it's available, if the bottom fell out, let's just say if everything
Yeah.
went to pot, I know that I got several credit cards. So that's my also, and then also as far as Dave Ramsey, he kind of his attitude is a little bit off sometimes, and I'm like, do, do you need to be that mean? And so I sort of started not to
Mhm.
like him so much. So
Mhm.
I'm like, you know what? I can do without him now.
Yeah. Like, okay, this for example, it's a hot topic for me. Being the youngest child, I nurse this because being the youngest, he believes in, when you're 18, a child should leave the nest immediately. I'm not in complete agreement with that because not everybody at 18 is mature. I know, listen, I'll be honest with y'all. I was not mature. I was not. I still had milk on my breath when I was 18.
I was ready. I left at
See,
18.
and that's the thing. Everybody is different.
Everybody's
See,
different.
my parents weren't like, oh, you're not ready. See, the thing is, my parents' immaturity saw wisdom. Like, why are we going to push her out, and then she's going to have to
Mm,
come back in a few months?
mm,
They're like, are
mm,
you? I
mm.
wanted to go, but
Oh,
they knew I wasn't ready.
all right. I was man. The reason why I was ready is because I we had a very small house.
Oh yeah.
It was a three-bedroom house. So I'm sharing a room with my two sisters, and then the three boys. Well, one had already moved out. So there was two
Hmm.
boys in the other room, and then my parents was in the third. So, and then three girls, three teenagers, three grown women. My biggest sister, my big sister. I think she was still in the house even after I left. I think I left before her.
Yeah.
So big three grown women. I would say my sister is 2 years younger than me. So I was 18, she was 16, and then my bigger sister was 21, in one room, and the room wasn't that big.
Oh no, that's why.
The room wasn't that big, and my sister, my big sister, she loved clothes. She loved clothes and shoes, and there was just not enough room for everything.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I need some room. I need some space. My big brother, he had already moved out and got an apartment, and he was working in London. This was an apartment in Birmingham where we grew up.
Hmm.
So he was working in London. So for the most of the week, his apartment was free. So he said, you know, um, I could come and get the spare room with him, while he's away. He'd hardly be there. So that I did that for the first probably 6 months or a year till I got tired of that. And then I got this little cute penthouse apartment. It was a little penthouse because
Yeah.
it was on the top floor. It's only 3 floors, but to me it was a
You're in the
penthouse.
penthouse.
My top floor apartment at the top of the church, at the top of the church. What's it? Is it like a church community center type of thing? No, it's a church school. Church
Uh-huh.
school. They had a row of apartments at the top of the church school, and it was brand new. They just built them, and I'm like, oh, I got to get one of those. I got my little penthouse apartment there, and I was on my own at 18, 19. I was the bomb, man.
Well, I can tell you, I can't lie because I think lightning would strike me from the sky. I was spoiled.
Oh,
I was daddy's girl. He
but you were
enabled
the
me.
baby.
Yeah, and he enables me, so I can't help who I am. Like my brothers and
Mhm.
sisters say, "Oh, you like nice things." I was like, "What is wrong with liking nice things?"
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I was like, "I work hard to get my nice things."
Mhm,
See, the difference that I feel between wanting nice things
mhm.
is, can you afford those nice things? Now, it would be a different thing if I wanted nice things and I can't afford them.
Right, exactly,
If I can
exactly.
afford them, then just
Why
leave me
not?
alone.
Is
Leave
that
me
right?
alone.
Yeah.
So, is there
Oh,
anything that you want to add, Millissa?
no, not really. I think just following certain principles. Again, the Susie Orman. I like what she stands for as far as the how am I doing, the Dave Ramsey baby steps. You could find them on their websites. And if anybody at all wants to get in touch with me, I have certain some notes and documents that might be useful for people. So if anybody wants to get hold of me, they can actually reach out to me. You see the spelling of my name, Millissa Jayne, and you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook, on my website, melissajayne.com, and email info@melissajayne.com as well. So if
Awesome.
anybody wants to
Oh,
reach
and
out, feel free.
I also wanted to tell you congratulations on your 500.
Oh, thank
Yeah, I was
you! I know, I know. It's exciting. It's a journey,
like,
I tell you. It's a
yeah.
journey, but I'm excited
Yeah,
about that.
it's a
So,
journey. I while the stream, because my phone keeps going off, because I have a group for all my channels, because if you don't know, I have 5 YouTube channels.
oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I just got a alert on my email that I just got the community tab for my other channel.
Oh,
And
well
then
done.
everybody was like, "You got it, you got it." I was like, "What is everybody saying?"
Congratulations to you too.
Yeah,
So,
so
so
I'm
what,
happy
what,
about that.
what channel is that one then? Is that the hair channel?
Just relax now. It's my water sounds channel.
Okay, okay, I gotta go check that out. So, send me a link to your other channels that you'd like
Okay,
to
awesome.
to
I
see.
definitely will. And this has been so incredible. I would love to have you back on the show. I'm just gonna pencil you in as a recurring guest.
Okay, all right, we can do this again.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. You guys, Millissa Jayne, she has an awesome channel. I recommend you check it out. What's your upload days and live stream days?
Yeah, my live stream days are Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and my um I will do also some random videos. Usually after a Tuesday or a Thursday, I will do some clips of the previous night's shows. So for example, last night I did some tech tips on how to make it easy for people to send you money um, using the QR codes. And so that video was uploaded this morning after last night's show. So yeah, random videos plus um, my regular schedule is Tuesdays and Thursday. Anytime other than that as well.
Awesome, Melissa. Awesome, awesome. I'm definitely going to be over to watch that video. And I thank you and appreciate you so much for coming on the show. I know that my audience really has appreciated this information. It's so much good information and so much good food for thought. So
All
I
right. I
thank
thank
you.
you so much for inviting me on. I'm really, really honored and happy that you included me on your channel. So I want to thank you for this beautiful
Thank
invitation. And
you.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too as well. So guys, Millissa Jayne, guys, Millissa Jayne. If you don't know, you need to. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.
Bye.